Oh, hey guys, how you doing? I'm doing well. You know why I'm doing well? Because I got out. I got my out, bitches. So it was time for me to throw one in, and I thought, why not do it on the ad, man? Because I love fucking out, man. It's so good. It's better than any of the other nicotine pouches out there. I'm so glad I quit smoking. I can breathe so much better. And Alp gives me that edge. It keeps me clicking, man. It gives me that edge, keeps my mind working, keeps me going. Hey, man, if I'm hungry and I'm in a position I can't get any food, throwing an Alp suppresses my hunger. I go on with my day until I absolutely have to get something to eat. Because typically, when you're hungry, a lot of it, it's not because you really need the food, it's because you've trained your body to freaking eat that food like that. So I get that out, I throw it in, suppress the hunger, go on about my day, work a few more hours and be like, all right, yeah, I need to stop and grab me some nasty fucking shit to eat because the truck stops don't have fucking healthy foods. They feed you fucking greasy, nasty fucking bullshit. So I'll put it off as long as I can, keep my health just a few hours longer, and then and I have that out to assist me in this process. So link in the description below. Alp, 10% off your first order. And if you order $70 or more, you get free shipping. I have mine on recurring order. I don't even have to think about it. My Alp comes directly to me. I don't have to worry about it. It's there. So I love my Alp. Get your Alp. It's better than any of the other nicotine pouches around. And stick stick around. Kyle Matovcik coming up. You know me and him. We like to have a good conversation. But look what I just got in. So bouncing off the back of last week's episode, I got it in. Kill the Bud by Ernst Roots. Hey man, y'all want me to have a good conversation? I'm gonna be reading this book here for probably the next 2, 3 weeks, um, due to the amount of time I work. But y'all go freaking get in touch with Ernst Roots on Facebook, on Twitter, wherever y'all can like reach out to him. Tell him he's got to come on my show. My wife is a bull. She wants me to fucking talk to Ernst Roots, and I would love to have that conversation because that dude is fucking fire, man. So I'm gonna be reading "Kill the Bull" by Ernst Roots, and if y'all can go fucking petition him, there's at least 40,000 of you motherfuckers out there. So y'all take y'all's asses, petition the son of a bitch to come talk to Tommy Salmons at year zero. I am fucking down for it. I want to talk to Ernst Roots. Seems like a great dude. I love what he's got to say. And I'd love to have him on the show and have that conversation with him. So help me out, man. I don't ask y'all for much. I don't ask y'all for money. I don't ask y'all for shit. Go fucking petition Ernst Roots to come join the show and fucking so we can have that conversation for your pleasure. And don't forget, Alp, link in the description below. Get you some, bitches. And Kyle is taking his time, and I have a song stuck in my head. So we're going to play this song. Like, I don't care. Like, what are you going to do? Kick me off the YouTube? Let's do it. Mastodon, Blood and Thunder. Kyle will join us in just a minute. He's cooking dinner. So we're fucking listen.
And Doug.
Okay, here's what you want to do.
So this is going to go into like something I want to talk to Kyle about because Brent Hines left the band earlier this year, and so Mastodon is looking for a new guitar player. And being a three piece, I imagine that makes a lot of difference. I'm gonna have to eventually do like a, a full show on Mastodon. I'm a big Mastodon fan. I love the way that they construct music, especially for a three-piece band. Um, I think it's incredible what Mastodon comes out with. Very similar to, not that the music is similar, but as far as just the intellect, what goes into the song, very similar to Tool in the way that they construct music. Very, very interesting music. Um, and I just really, really, really love Mastodon a lot. Um, Troy Sanders is my beard doppelganger. So, me and Troy Sanders have the same beard. And I'm told all the time I look like what's a Dave Grohl from Foo Fighters, previously of Nirvana. But and to be honest, Dave Grohl does have a lot of similar features to people in my family. I remember when I went and saw the Foo Fighters years ago. I think it was 2005. I saw the Foo Fighters and looking at him, and he looked just like my Uncle David. Like I just remember looking at him going, "Oh my God, you look just like my Uncle David, who had died of prostate cancer a few years before that." And just like looking at him like that. But yeah, I've been told a lot I look like Dave Grohl, but Troy Sanders got the same beard as me. It's grown to about the same length. We got the same kind of like flow going on as far as our beard goes. So like I really appreciate that. I wish Kyle would hurry up and finish cooking because I'm sure he's not that good of a cook, where it takes him 16 hours to make a gumbo or some shit like that. But he doesn't know I'm saying all this. He's just going to join whenever he joins. And so, yeah, um, I was looking at this big beautiful bill, um, kind of like abstractly. It's 1,000 pages. It's hard to read through, but kind of what I'm thinking is I'm looking at it when it as it regards to um, Trump's plan and what Trump's putting out there. I think I could be wrong, but I think what Trump thinks he can do is he can generate enough revenue and outgrow the amount of spending that is that the US requires to continue along the path. So he's not as interested in cutting um, the amount that is spent as he is in outgrowing the amount that is spent. And I think that's interesting because, like, let's say you have a family, right? And you're not bringing in enough money to keep up with your expenditures and your spending and your debt. but there's nothing you can cut. If you cut something, somebody's going to hurt and they're going to hurt a lot. Like, what do? You look to outgrow it and you look to bring in more money than you absolutely necessitate. Um, and so I think that's kind of what Trump's thinking is. He's like, if we're like $37 trillion in debt and there's nothing we can cut, and we're going to keep spending money at this freaking rate, then we're going to have to figure out a way to bring in enough income to supplant this. I'm not saying it's a bad strategy. I'm not going to go as far as saying that. I just don't know if it's possible. I don't know if you can create enough income to overcompensate to overcome the amount of debt and the deficit um each year. Like, I don't know. Possible, maybe. Like, I don't know. Like, who am I? You know, I'm just some truck driver, you know, like that just, I just talk shit. It's like, I don't know. I don't have the, I don't have the, um, answer to this. But I think I understand what he's trying to do, what the goals are. I don't know, but I don't know if they can do it. I mean, a lot of people have been talking about going back to the 2019 spending, pre-COVID spending, and that doesn't seem to be at the top of the list. Seems, and also it seems that these reconciliation bills, they're limited as to what you can bring into them, right? So it, if I understand it correctly, in the reconciliation bills, you can't bring in discretionary spending. It's got to be like guaranteed spending that you're negotiating, that you're reconciling, so to speak. Um, so maybe there are things that can't be brought into this bill that'll be brought into future bills. Fact of the matter is, he's running out of time. I mean, next year it's primary season for the midterms. Well, you're in the middle of an election already by next year. So I don't know. I don't know if anything's going to occur. I don't know if they're going to be able to get anything done. Um, that's something else we'll ask Kyle about when he decides to join us, and y'all will know when he joins us. I was just kind of bored sitting here and doing nothing. So I was like, Blood and Thunder was stuck in my head. So I'm like, I'm gonna listen to Blood and Thunder. Well, if I have to listen to it, all y'all all y'all have to listen to it. So and then so and then I have thoughts on the politics of the day, on what's going on. I don't necessarily know if Trump's plan is going to work. I don't know. I hope it does. You know, I can only hope that there's some sort of strategy that's put forth that changes things in some way, shape, or form, so that those of us that have been working for so long see some benefit um, above and beyond, and that our children have a better outlook on the future. You know, because right now things don't look good. Like, things look bad, and it's very possible that the U.S. has outsourced so much of their labor to other nations that we'll never get it back, and that those of us that have that blue collar mentality are really limited in our futures, in the potential, and our children and grandchildren are looking at a much worse future. And I believe that that is something that Trump is attempting to attack. I just don't know if he's doing it the right way. I don't know if the actions he's taking are going to make the difference that we need them to make in order to put us on the right track. I couldn't tell you one way or the other, you know. Um, it took me, I started working at 17 years old when I graduated high school, and I'll be 46 in August. So you're talking about almost 30 years to get to a point where I'm pretty freaking comfortable. I'm like, I'm not overly wealthy or rich or any of that stuff, but I'm comfortable. I'm okay with the way my life is. I'm content, you know, and I don't expect a whole lot more out of life than what I already get out of life. So I don't know. I'm not certain that there's much that can be done or will be done because of the incentives, which is another thing I plan on talking to Kyle about, is the incentive structure of Congress, right? They don't have the incentives to um, look at us that are the working class. They don't. They're they get their money from wealthy people, wealthy individuals, rich people. And so by advocating for those of us that work for a living, it hurts them, you know, because then they're going along against um they're going against those that pay their bills, that bring in the lobbying money, that donate millions of dollars to their campaigns. And so we have to be aware of that and construct our lives in such a way that we're not dependent on politics to go our way. That no matter what politics does, we're going to be okay with it. Like it's not gonna affect us. I mean, it's gonna affect us, but it's not gonna affect us to the extent that we have to change things to to a great degree, you know. And I don't know how to tell you how to do that. You just kind of have to look at your own situation. Coors Light bitches, because I'm on a diet. You have to look at your own situation. You have to break down your own situation and try to get an understanding of what it is that you need and set those things aside and then tackle life to the fullest extent of what you have to offer. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Like nobody's like telling you that everything you're going to try and everything you're going to do is going to solve all your problems because that's not the reality of the situation. That's not the way life works. And unfortunately, we're a lot of times we're at the behest of our betters, for lack of a better term, those people that have like Elon Musk and these guys have created such legacies and such wealth for themselves. We're kind of be like, I wouldn't say beholden necessarily, but we're definitely waiting to see what they have to say about things. Um, because, you know, it just is what it is. Like you are who you are. You don't have that kind of power. The only power you have is to solve your own problems and to deal with your own issues. And sometimes that's not enough, man. Like sometimes like you're going to fall short and you're going to be disappointed in yourself. And no matter what you try, no matter how hard you push, there are going to be people that are disgruntled with you and looking at you as if you're lesser than, or you didn't do enough, you didn't try hard enough, and only you know, the effort you put into these things. And so don't let these people, excuse me, um, don't let these people have their way with you. Don't let them, trample all over you because you're sorry, I had shit falling. I'm trying to get things together. Um, I'm so disorganized. But you're you're not ever gonna have it all figured out. You just can't quit, man. You just can't quit. I was talking to my son Talon earlier, who y'all heard last week, and we were talking, and I was just like, "Look, man," I was like, "It's not about succeeding." I was like, "It's about not being beaten. You don't want to get, you don't want to be defeated, because if you're defeated, then it's over. Then it's all over. There's nothing left. So you can lose." You can lose at life. You can lose at this. You can lose at that. Fine. But if you don't quit, you're not defeated. You just keep moving forward, man. You just keep trying. Do this, do that. Like, keep freaking moving. Don't allow this shit to defeat you. There's this idea that suicide is the coward's way out. And the reason people say that is because those people have like rendered defeat. They have declared defeat in their lives. But no matter how bad your life is, if you just keep moving forward and just keep like, I'm just going to keep trucking. I'm going to put one foot in front of the fucking other, and I'm going to keep trying, and I'm going to keep trying, and I'm going to keep trying. Like, there's nothing to be ashamed of, man. You're fighting your fucking ass off. My brother's a quitter. I know quitters. I know what it looks like when somebody quits. Y'all don't have to quit. Like, life's tough and sucks sometimes. You have ups and you have downs. But if you work hard enough, eventually you get to the point where it just kind of evens all out and it smooths out. And you're like, oh, okay, this is what it is. It just is what it is. And you don't have to struggle against it so much. I don't struggle against life. Like life just does what it does. I just keep going. I'm just like, all right, whatever. Cool. It doesn't matter. It's whatever. Doesn't mean I don't get upset or angry or like I have my moments, but I don't stress about life. I do everything I can to make sure I don't have any stresses, that I'm not like feeling anxiety about things. But that didn't mean it was always this way. I'm just better when it is this way. I enjoy it more and I'm more content with my life because I'm not anxious and not feeling these anxieties constantly. Holy shit. Kyle's like super late, man. He's like 34 minutes late. But anyway, I guess I'll just ramble on until he jumps on. I just kind of wanted to get this started and get rolling, get talking. Um, I have so many thoughts about like modern society and the way things are that sometimes it's hard to hold it in. Sometimes I'm like, I'm just ready to have that conversation, is like jump into the conversation uh, before my guest is ready necessarily. So, um, I want I want young men to realize it's not hopeless, you know. They have they've been put in a situation to where people don't want them to succeed. And there are people that don't want young men to succeed, but it doesn't mean that there's no possible way of success. Just because those people are amplified and their voices are out there and you can hear them, it does not mean that you don't have a possible template for success. You just can't be defeated. You just got to keep going. You keep on keeping on. You put one foot in front of the other every day. You get up with a mission, with a goal, and you keep moving towards that mission, towards that goal, whatever it is. Feeding your family, um, becoming a success. You know, there's this unrealistic kind of view of what masculinity is online that shows you, oh, well, if you don't make six figures a year, you're not a man. Oh, fuck you, man. Like what? Well, these people don't know anything. These people, these people are just they're talking out of their ass. 80% of the U.S. doesn't make six figures a year. The average salary in the U.S. is $33,000 a year. Fuck those people. They don't know what they're talking about. Set some realistic expectations. Set realistic goals, realistic expectations, and fucking stick to it and aim for it. And once you reach that goal, once you reach that expectation, takes you 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, who cares? Then set you new fucking goals, new expectations. But don't get out of high school, go into college and be like, I'm making six figures a year. That's unrealistic. That's not the way the world works. You're not entitled to six figures a year. You probably won't make six figures a year. If you do make six figures a year, you're in the top like 5%, 2% of income earners in the US. That's not a realistic goal. The majority of people live on less than $100,000 a year. And they do so happily. And you shouldn't be told otherwise. You shouldn't be told that the value of your life depends upon whether or not you can go out there and you can make $300,000 a year. And all these women that are on OnlyFans saying that, well, I won't date a man if he doesn't make $600,000 a year, blah, 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 blah. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They're fucking prostituting themselves online because they're fucking stupid. So don't worry about those people. Yeah, one out of every 10 women in the United States has an OnlyFans. Okay, well, that means 9 out of 10 women aren't fucking whores. It's the way it goes. Like, have fun, figure it out, meet them in the right places. Stop looking for a woman in the wrong place. You're looking for quality, not quantity. The quality of a woman that you get to spend your life with is much fucking more important than the quantity of women that you have one night stands with. Just fucking get over it. I don't know, man. I'm just kind of I'm kind of tired of the way that things are. I'm tired of the way that men are talked to, that men are fucking approached, that men are supposed to believe things in certain ways and it's like none of it's right. We're not supposed to be pussies. Don't be a fucking pussy. Get up off your ass and do some shit. Work your ass off. Get shit done. That's what it's all about. Get shit done. And don't quit. Don't be defeatist. Don't quit. Just keep moving forward and keep fucking working your ass off. Don't let them get the best of you. None of you. There's more to you than that. I don't know. I'm going to pause here. I'm going to wait for Kyle to join because he's extremely late. I don't know what the fuck's going on with him, but you got a little bit of a rant from me on this episode, which is rare. You don't normally get that. I don't normally like do that outside of a podcast episode and recording with another person and chatting with an individual. But that's kind of a few of the things that are on my mind. I'm being a little bit negligent and talking about everything that's on my mind, but I gotta hold some things close to the chest. One thing that's exciting this year, July 19th, for the first time ever, after 30 years of being a fan of the UFC, I am finally going to my first UFC event. And my son Talon, that y'all heard last week, is actually going with me. So we're going to go have a lot of fun down in New Orleans. We're going to go watch Dustin Poirier's last fight when he fights Max Holloway and see Dustin Poirier retire. And I'm excited, man. I've never been to a UFC event. Always wanted to go, and I'm stoked for that. So, yeah, that's that's something that's happening. So don't ever give up, man. You never know. I never thought I'd be able to go to a UFC event, and here we are, 30, 31 years later, going to a UFC event and seeing one of my favorite fighters fight. So I'm going to pause here. Kyle should join us soon. Y'all won't know any different, but I will.
There's a few other guys that could too, but
I'm here
I'm,
with
I'm assuming we can
Paula
bunch them all
Dean.
together.
As promised, Paula Dean is here. She's been cooking dinner all night. What do you
Mm,
cook? What did you
yeah.
cook, Paula? Hopefully there was 2 sticks of
So
butter involved.
no, regrettably no butter. I was solving the world's problems, but I made a banana bread s'mores protein bread, if you will. So it was
That
two
sounds
bananas.
terrible.
No, it was delicious. So you get two
Banana and
bananas.
s'mores.
You don't really taste it. Hear me out here. Trust me. So you get two bananas, you mash them all up, and then you add in two eggs, mix it all together. I use toasted marshmallow Greek yogurt, mix that in, a little bit of white vinegar to help it kind of like soak up the baking soda. Get all that stuff mixed together. Then you put in 50 grams of flour. I use just like I think it's a white rice flour because that's a gluten-free flour. My wife and I don't use gluten in our stuff because she has an allergy. 5 grams of coconut flour, vanilla extract. I use a little bit of cake extract to also give it a little bit more flavor. 2 scoops of s'mores protein powder, chocolate chips, mixed that all together, cooked it on 350 degrees for about 35 minutes, and let it sit for a few minutes. Put some marshmallows on top of it, put it back in the oven on broil for probably like not even a minute. Let the
Mm.
marshmallows get all melted and brought it out, ate it, and I was surprised. You definitely taste like some banana, but like the chocolate chips and everything else kind of it gives it a good flavor. So like a lot of like different recipes for healthier stuff, they'll typically use like bananas as base. So I was pleasantly surprised. It was very good.
Yeah, and I know it's not unhealthy, but it sounds super fucking unhealthy.
It
It
does.
sounds like
It
it
does,
sounds like
but
I'm gonna be in
yeah.
a diabetic coma by the time I fucking get to the end of that recipe.
Yeah, yeah, it sounds like that, but it, like you said, it's made with all healthier stuff, and you're not putting in ass loads of butter, or sugar, or anything like that. There's actually no added sugar to it. Like I use the artificial sweetener and stuff like that, but I'd even use an insane amount of that.
Wait,
So,
like
but yeah, that's generally,
food
yeah,
isn't food
that's
without
generally how
butter.
I cook stuff. Mm, I
Dude, I just can't.
let's
I,
see.
I I gotta have my butter. I'm from the South.
Mm,
We eat a lot of
yeah.
fucking butter down here.
I was saying it yesterday, because Sarah and I were just kind of talking. I'm like, I want to eat a seafood boil like right now, but like we're on like a McDonald's budget. So right now, seafood boil is out of the question. We'll go back eventually because that's like both Sarah and I love those things. That's like her favorite thing is seafood boils.
Yeah, y'all are just
Um,
yard crunching because the kid's coming, right?
yeah, pretty much. And just it's been financial stuff as well. So like we got a new microwave. Bought a fridge recently as well, and just
It all
I'm
goes at
paying off
once. You
bills.
just told me the dishwasher. Yeah, it all happens at one
Mhm.
time.
Well, you know what? God bless my dad because I I was on a podcast yesterday and we were kind of talking about this, and he asked me kind of like what I hope for with my daughter and my future family. And this is going to be a little bit of a rant and rave, but please just bear with me here for a
Yeah,
minute.
go ahead.
Um, when my grandfather passed away, I will never forget seeing
Alp.
the way that people
Alp. Just in case y'all forgot, Alp. I'm sorry. Go
um no, 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 you're all right. Yeah.
ahead.
I know they also sponsor the Old Glory Club, so those are our boys as well. So use Tommy's code or use the Old Glory Club's code because
There's
those
no
are all
code.
like
Just
good
go to
friends of
the link
ours.
in the description below. Link in the
Oh,
description below.
yes. Link in the description down there. Um, So when my grandfather passed away, I was 15 years old, and as I get older, I realize how little I appreciated him then and how much I appreciate him now. But I will never, ever, ever, as long as I live, ever forget seeing the line of people around the whole funeral home going in and grabbing his hand on his deathbed and just reminiscing about how much they loved him and just all the memories that they had with him. And I know my dad's funeral, hopefully that day is very, very far away, is going to be the same way, if not even more people. And I hope one day that when that's me laying in the coffin, that, my daughter, my son, and hopefully, more kids than that and grandkids, hopefully it's the same way for me. And like those are enormous shoes to fill. But like when I look out at the world, that's how I want to be remembered. And not like in any kind of grand sense, but like in the sense that everybody knew Rich, right? Everybody knew Rich Matovcik. Everybody knew my Uncle Goose. Everybody knew Glenny.
Mm.
So I want to be remembered as, maybe I'll have a nickname, when I die, hopefully in like 60, 70 years. Hopefully they all
I
remember
just
me
gave
just
you a
as fondly
nickname.
as
It's
they remember
Paula
my
Dean.
grandfather. Oh yeah, well there you go. So hopefully they grab my hand and say, Paula, you were so great. Your underwear was always just tight enough, and you made the best cookies in the world. You couldn't fix a car for shit, but at least you were good at cooking, and sometimes you were funny.
What I've always said is when it comes to my funeral, I have so much fun at life.
Mhm.
Like I like to
Yeah.
laugh a lot. I just want them to hire like Tony Hinchcliffe to roast
Mm.
me for like an hour at my funeral. I think that would be so fucking fun. Like for everybody there, just to talk shit about me for like a whole fucking hour, just roast the guy who died. I think it's hilarious. I think it would be so fucking great.
Did so I don't know how closely you follow like Lamb of God or Guar. I know you like Lamb of God quite a bit, but I don't know if you're as big of a fan of Guar as I am. But I will
I thought Guar like quit playing. I thought didn't one of their dudes
Mhm.
die a couple of years ago and
Okay,
I
yeah, yeah. So this is actually around that. Their
okay.
original singer, Dave Brock, he had passed away, and I want to say it was 2013. And Randy Blythe was actually the speaker at his funeral. Like he gave his like I don't know what you're supposed to call it, like a speech at his funeral, but one of the comments that Randy said, he said, if it was me laying in that casket right now, Dave Brocky would be cracking jokes about me, but I don't have the stomach to do that. And I'm like, man, imagine if you remembered like that. Like if somebody was like, he would be busting on me right now, but
Dude, I
like,
think that's the
I'm not that
greatest thing.
savage.
But I think that's the
Yeah.
greatest thing because it's like,
Yeah.
all right. So the other day, I show up to my dad's store because we work for the same company. So I show up to his store the other day to do a delivery, and I walk in, and I'm standing there at the service
Mhm.
counter, and I'm talking to his managers, and he's oblivious that I'm there. His back is
Mhm.
turned to me. He's on the computer the whole time, and it's storming outside, and I freaking, and when he finally realizes I'm there, I'm like, yeah, get this guy a new prescription because I can read his fucking computer from all the way out here. And like, that's my humor. It's just bust balls, get on it. Like, if I'm not fucking with you, I don't like you. Like, that's just the way I
Yeah.
am. If I take the time to think of a joke to like talk about you, then I actually like you. If I don't even take the time to think about it, then yeah, like you're probably not up there in like my contacts. The people
Mhm.
that I fuck with the most and talk shit to the most are the people I like the most. I don't talk shit about people I don't like. Like if you'll notice,
Mhm.
like people like come on my show sometimes and they'll bring up a name, like who was it the other day that brought up Whoopi Goldberg, and I was just kind of, yeah, fuck that bitch. And I just shrugged my shoulders, like, yeah, fuck that bitch. Like, I'm not even gonna waste my time talking shit about her because, like, I don't like her. I don't think she's interesting. I don't think she's smart. Like, there's nothing about her that I find endearing. Like, I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like, she was in that movie Ghost with Patrick Swayze. Like, whatever. Like, that's it. Like, that's the most I have good to say about her. So it's like,
Well, and it's
why
also,
am I going to waste my time?
yeah, and like to that point, it's also like, what do you allow to occupy your time in your mind? Like when I see people on Twitter who spend all their time encircled in drama or like mentioning how, oh, I'm blocked by this person, I do this, I do that. And like I joke about it. Like my Twitter bio right now says like blocked by all the worst people and followed by all your favorite people. It's just kind of like a joke, but like people who just constantly have to throw this out there, it's
Dude,
like
I got to
you're
get on
living
Twitter
in
so I know what my Twitter bio says. I don't even know what it says. I haven't been on in so long. I
just
get on
yeah, just
I
stay
get
off. You're
on just
better
to
off.
message certain people. Like I don't even get on there to
Mhm.
like do anything. I don't even look at the timeline.
Yeah, yeah, you're better off. It's but people like live in somebody else's frame, and it's like, why would you want to do that with somebody that you hate? Like, why do you want to give somebody that much power over you? And this is also like kind of an annoying thing that I see, not just with like libertarians, but with a lot of people in general, where it's like, oh, the progressives are doing this, so I'm going to do the exact opposite. It's like, but you're still letting them set the narrative here.
Yeah,
Like,
they're
why don't
setting the
you make your
narrative.
own? Exactly.
You're
You make
yeah,
your own world in your own path.
yeah, yeah. Hey, I got a question for you, man. Like
Okay.
this struck me. Um, I didn't realize this until this week. Maybe you knew this
Mhm.
already, but this just popped up on my radar. So Brent Hines left Mastodon.
Yes. Yes, that was
Okay.
a few months ago.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, like 2 months ago, I think, to exactly 2 months ago.
Hmm.
What do you, how hard is that? Like that's a three-piece band and he was the guitar player. Like, what does that mean
So,
for Mastodon? Like how do they move forward?
so this is a big question because like Mastodon is one of those bands. They're like a
Super
Pantera in this
unique,
respect. And
super unique.
yes, yes, yes. So the reason why I say they're like a Pantera is if you take any one of, if you take Vinny, Phil, Dime, or Rex out of Pantera, that's a
It's
different
not
band, no
Pantera.
matter what. Exactly.
It's like when you took
If you
Lane out
take
of Alice in Chains, it wasn't Alice in Chains anymore.
Yes, yes. It's a different band because like Brett Hines is a singer and like his guitar playing is so interesting. Like I always think of the crazy arpeggios. And when you listen to like the riff before the solo in Oblivion, right? That's a Brett Hines riff. Like these real weird arpeggiated kind of strummed out chords that have this real odd sound and like also all like this real trippy kind of stuff. That's
But
all
it's
Brett.
so fucking, but it's so like, it's such, that song particular, like, is such a 4/4 timing. Like, it's kind of like that's like one of their most bland songs.
Yeah, but
I mean, I
like
love the
it's
song. I'm
more,
not saying it's a
yeah.
bad song. It's just like
Mhm.
one of their basic songs. It's like a very basic song. Like, what is it
Yeah.
about Brent that was like that's so great? I saw something.
It,
He's like in three other bands. I'm like, how do you
yeah,
fucking
he
have
plays in
time? Like, how do you have the mental
I think he play
space?
one of the other bands he plays in was Giraffe Tongue Orchestra, which is actually with William Duvall, the current singer of Alice in Chains. They're actually pretty freaking good. I don't know the other two bands that he's in, but he also sang and played. So like a lot
Well,
of the stuff
all
off
three of them
of
sing. Like Troy sings, he
yes,
sang, and
yeah, Bill,
Dollar sang.
yeah, Bran Daler, which I think I might have told you this on the show before, but like Bran is one tall motherfucker. I met him
Dude, he's a
briefly, and
bad motherfucker, dude.
oh, listen, you could watch like when you think about him playing the Motherload or something like that, or some
Even
of the stuff off
Oblivion,
of like
like
Blood
listen
Mountain.
to him singing
Yeah.
and playing on Oblivion. I mean, it's like reminiscent
Yeah.
of Genesis.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I've always respected someone like him or like a Morgan Rose from Seven Dust is just they're so talented. But Brett Hines had such like a unique flavor to his playing because like the chicken picking, like I said, like all these weird arpeggios. You can't replace somebody like that. Like they got this really good guitar player. I think he's a solo artist. Nick Johnston, and he's not the right fit for that. He's a very fucking good guitar player, but he's not Brent Hines style. He would be an interesting fit, like
Was
if
that
they
who
did a
they
side
replaced him
project, but
with?
he's touring with them. And they also had like
Oh.
some YouTube guitar player that did it for like part of a tour when he left. I can't remember that
Like the
guy's
guy
name,
that
but they
sings for Journey now?
oh
That Filipino guy
who the
that
fuck
sings for Journey now?
yeah, yeah. You're kind of starting to see this though. So like Smashing Pumpkins was looking for a guitar player and they got a Kiki Wong who is this little Asian chick and she's fucking awesome guitar player. But there is something weird and I think you'll understand what I'm getting at here in a second is that these YouTube guitar players, I'm not against them joining bands, but you kind of have to think about this in respect where it's almost cutting down the wages of somebody who wants to fill that position because these people are already loaded off of YouTube, right? They don't need that job. It's like a dream job for them, right? So if you step into that position as like a YouTube guitar player, now it's like, okay, well, can we keep this guy? Because if we keep him, we don't really have to pay him shit because he's already got all this money off of YouTube. Granted, like he can't make so much content, but we don't really have to worry about his income as much as we would about somebody like, let's say, if I wanted to quit my job and go join Mastodon, which I couldn't do, it would be completely different. So, I don't know if this is going to start to be like more and more of a thing, but like you also saw this Five Finger Death Punch. Their guitar player is Andy James, who is another kind of like solo artist, big YouTube guitar player, but one of the most talented guitar players out there now. Could really fucking write a song too. There's a song that he wrote called What Lies Beneath, and that it gets stuck in my head all the time. It's so good.
Hmm.
But yeah, to replace someone like Brett Hines, you just can't do it because he also had this real weird singing voice, and even like some of the shit that he screamed on, and like Leviathan was very unique. But
Yeah.
I think probably the main person, like if I had to put like if you were to split that band up and say like there's one most important member, I would probably say it's Troy because Troy has that fucking and maybe it's my bias because I
See, I
think
would
like
say
his voice
I'd say Brand.
that okay, yeah, that'd be fair. I think there's
And
a
see, but
reasonable debate
that's
there,
the
but
thing about
yeah.
being a trio is it's so
Yeah.
tight knit, it's so close. Like these guys
Yeah.
have to be so on it. You know, each
Right.
guy has to be on it. And so like to me, like I mean thinking of like you play, I mean, what there are five members of your band. And If one
Yes.
of the guitar players left, that's a problem. And if
Right.
one of the guitar players left and took a voice with them, that's a different
Mm,
problem. And then it's
right.
another problem if it's a three-piece band and not a five-piece.
Well, so yeah, well, there's Bill Kelleher, who's their other guitar player, but he's not really. His riffs are a little bit more like more metal inspired. So, like you think about Blood and Thunder, that first riff, which I know you were just saying you were listening to beforehand. I would imagine like
So
listening to
was
it
the
that first.
audience. Everybody was listening to it. I played it on this show, motherfucker.
Yeah, I would imagine the
I mean, that had oh boy, the vocalist from Clutch was on there too. For those of y'all
yeah,
that are on video that saw the video of it, the clown that was singing, that's the lead vocalist of the band Clutch, who was in that video and singing
yeah.
on that song. So yeah, that's a badass song. I love that song.
Oh yeah.
White
Yeah,
Whale,
I
Holy
well, you know what?
Grail.
There's Troy in that song, just like when it goes into that what that like bridge part. I just Troy has this ability with his vocals and the way they mix it. It's just like earth shattering. And if you listen to Killer Be Killed, which I don't know if you did,
Oh yeah,
um
oh yeah.
his his voice is just larger than life. Or
Anything
you think about
anything that my beard doppelganger does, I will listen to.
yeah, yeah,
We
so
have the
like
exact like I noticed that like a couple of months ago. He and I have the
yeah,
exact same beard. It's like the same length.
I'm seeing it.
This.
You think about what the hell is it? Oh, Crystal Skull. That's one of my favorite songs by them because I just as soon as it goes into that like bridge part right before the solo and he's it's such as gold. I'm like, oh my God, just like I could throw a fucking dumpster off of my roof listening to that. Like it's just so fucking the way he could belt it out is just so fucking awesome. Or there's a live video, and I think they released it on a DVD of them playing Oblivion, and you'll hear the exact same thing I'm talking about when he starts singing the verse. It's just like he sounds ungodly. It's so fucking awesome. So
Am I the
yeah,
only
it just
one?
I
I talked to Matt Brown about this whenever I had Matt Brown on the podcast. It's like every time I listen to Oblivion, the next song I have to hear is Flying Whales by Gajira.
ah,
It's like for some
that's
reason
yeah.
those two songs like go together so well. I can't let it go. I'm like that is like
Mm.
the best combo of songs. If I could see Mastodon and Gajira on fucking tour together, like with maybe like Goat Whore opening up, dude, I would fucking jack off all the way to the stadium.
Oh, yeah, that would be a badass tour. I know Gojira and Mastodon have toured before. I think they toured together a couple years ago, if I remember correctly. But I know they've done plenty of tours together. But yeah,
Well,
having
see,
Goat Horror open
I've
for them.
heard
Yeah.
Mastodon tour with Crowbar, which I missed,
Mm,
and then
yeah.
Mastodon touring with um Goat Whore, which I missed, but touring if I could get Gajira, Mastodon, and Goat Whore all on the same fucking tour, dude, I would be
Mm,
fucking just insanely happy. Now I know I'm breaking news here, but because he's my boy and I want to let everybody
mm,
know, um, Havoc has a new album coming out, and so they will
mm.
be touring next year, and so I think David told me they'll be done recording in September, so he will be coming on the show later this year to talk about like their plans going forward. So, and if I have
You
anything to say about
really
it, if I have anything to say about it, my dude Matt Brown will be playing on a Havoc fucking album in the near future because like I hooked David Sanchez and Matt Brown up. So if I have anything to say
mm,
about it, that will be happening very shortly, and we will be getting to see fucking
mm.
our metal brother, the retired UFC fighter Matt Brown, fucking playing on a Havoc album, possibly fucking joining them in Columbus next year. So if you're in the area of Columbus, Ohio, and you want to go see a good fucking show, go see Havoc next year. They just wrapped up a tour with Exodus. They're finishing up a new album, and so that's just from my heart, man, because I don't get paid for like that promotion, but I just like I feel like I have to put that out there, man. Like I love Havoc, I love David Sanchez. Those are my boys. I'm not a huge thrash metal fan, but those are my boys. I love David, and I want to see him do um, all the good shit, man. So sorry.
No, no, dude, you're good. I would love to go see them, and I would love to have David Sanchez on. And you know what? I would love to see him. I emailed him or reach out to him on his website today. Chris Garza. I think I was telling you about this yesterday, but he runs the Garza podcast. He's a guitar player from Suicide Silence, and he's just such a good podcast host. Yeah, I would love to see him go on there, and I would love David if you're listening, brother. Open invite. You're welcome on anytime, and I would love to have him on. So, and then if he
You
comes
don't
through
have
Pittsburgh
a
again,
you don't have his contact?
no,
Because
no, I used to follow him
I've
on
had
Twitter.
y'all on
Yeah,
together,
yeah, and
but
he said he would do the show. I just haven't been able to. I don't think I don't know if I could still get to him on Twitter. David Havoc.
it doesn't
Yeah.
even matter, dude. I mean I text him all the time, so like I harass the shit out of this motherfucker. So
Hmm.
I'll get you in touch with David. Like that's not a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, dude, I'm totally down for it. But I didn't really listen to them. I knew who they were before
They're so good.
before I like met them. Oh yeah, they're awesome. And then I
They're
started
so
listening to them
good.
like, oh shit, they're fucking awesome.
Yeah. They're so good. Like I'm not a
Yeah,
huge
they're
thrash
fucking
metal
killer.
fan, but there are a couple of bands that I get down for, like Goat Horror and fucking Havoc are two of them. I'm all about it. They're so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
So
last album they put out, I think it was 2020. I listened to all that album quite a few times and I really dig it. And whenever I'm in
no,
like a thrash metal mood,
they
they're
were
one of the first
that
ones.
album came out. I think it came out in 2021. Maybe it
It
was
might have been.
2020, but it was during COVID that album came out.
Yeah.
And they didn't even tour for that until after COVID. That's the tour they just got off of with Exodus.
Mhm.
Yeah. And like
Mm.
if you ask me, I like Havoc more than I like Exodus. So it's like I think Havoc should have been headlining that. They just don't quite have the name recognition that like a band like Exodus has. But yeah, like
Sure.
I like Havoc more than Anthrax, and there are, I mean, like think of your favorite thrash metal band. I like Havoc more than them because Havoc is so good. The only thrash metal band I would say that is better than Havoc is probably Megadeth.
Mm. I I don't really listen to that much Megadeth. It's not like because I don't like them. It's just not somebody who goes to the front of my mind. There's like Warbringer, Battle Cross is really good too.
Dude,
I
listen to the
love
learn the guitar riffs for Holy Wars.
oh, you know what? You were mentioning Matt Brown, and I think you and I have talked about this before, but like Jamie Josta did the song the
The
Immortal, right? That was
Immortal.
about those are all
Yeah,
about Matt Brown.
yeah, that was Matt Brown's intro song, The Immortal.
Okay. Right, right. So Jamie Josta
He
in
wrote
the album
that
that
for
came,
Matt.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was listening to the Garza podcast today with Jamie Josta, and he mentioned he got hooked up with Ron Johnston, I think his name is, who is like the UFC composer, and he wrote a song with them. I can't remember whose song it was, but he talked about it a little bit, and then I remember him. He was like, "Oh, I tried to make it a little bit more hard rock because that's like what they go for." But he was like, "I kind of screwed it up because they told me they wanted to be more like Hatebreed, like what Jamie Jost is kind of known for."
Right, right,
But
right.
yeah, he did a they did a cover of Holy Wars on the album after the one that the Immortals on. That's The Lost Chapters was the album with the Immortal on it. and then The Lost Chapters Volume 2, I think was the one after that. And that album has like a guest vocalist on every single track except for Holy Wars. Holy Wars is the only one that Josta does all the singing on, and it's so good.
Mm. Holy Wars, the guitar playing on the Holy Wars is such a fucking nightmare. Do you listen to that and you're like, holy shit, what is he doing? You
Yeah,
know,
what the
like Tornado of Souls is fucking amazing too. Like that's the thing.
that's the one that are okay.
Dave
Yeah.
Mustaine doesn't get enough credit for his guitar playing. He was a fucking absolute master at guitar playing.
Mhm. Well, he always had good players too, and I don't know what the hell the deal is with him, why like people always leave, because it always seems like people generally like working with Megadeth, but what the hell was I he uh he had
So,
for the
so it's not
album
like
that
a
Holy Wars on.
Candlebox problem.
Oh, no. He had Marty Friedman at the time, and Marty Friedman is just like a god amongst men when it comes to guitar. And like the thing that guitar players ubiquitously know about Tornadoes of Souls is that there's a tenth fret to 17th fret stretch. So I'll give a visual.
Yeah.
So this is my Jericho Raven, which is like a standard scale, like the scale for it, which is just like the length of the neck.
Mhm.
It's a little bit different than what he would play because Marty Friedman plays Jackson and Paul Reed Smith. So the fret that he starts on in that solo, there's a certain point where he's like, you would know it because it sounds like sweeping the do 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 do, and it's like a
Yeah,
big
yeah.
stretch. So he goes from the 10th fret, which is right
It
here,
sounds
right?
like
See where my hand is?
a machine gun. The way he plays it.
Yeah. So he goes from the 10th fret right here all the way down to the 17th fret, which like you can see my hands pretty well, spread far apart.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like imagine to give like a little bit more visual, you're kind of going like, and then you have to go like that. So it
Yeah.
is very, very difficult, but it's a solo that everybody like talks about, and they're like, oh, that's like very hard.
Yeah. I would imagine. Like if you listen to Megadeth, like I've seen Megadeth 5 times. Um
I think I've seen
the,
four. Yeah.
yeah, the only other band I've seen as much as I've seen Megadeth is Down. And
Mm,
it's because they're so good live. They sound so good live, dude. If you tell me like Megadeth's coming to town, I'm going to that show because they are so good live. They sound
mm,
so good live. I've only owned 2 Megadeth albums, but I will go
mm,
see every time Megadeth plays live because they sound so good. And so I think, and I don't know. I mean, I couldn't. Dave Mustaine was just on he was just on that guy's podcast a
I
couple of
know who you're
days.
talking about.
That
Sean
CIA
Ryan.
Sean Ryan, yeah, the CIA guy. I haven't listened to it yet. I haven't
Yeah.
gotten around to listening to it. I'm interested in listening to it. I just haven't gotten around to listening to it.
Mm,
But he's a fucking monster. I mean, he's on Alex Jones all the time. Like he's like a wild man, but he seems like he's calmed down a bit. He says that he's more of a Christian. He's a Christian now and he's kind of calmed down,
mm.
but dude, as far as like technique, like he's one of the greatest guitar players of our generation.
I don't know how much I would agree with that. It's not because I like don't like Dave Mustaine. I think he is a very, very good songwriter. I've seen them 4 times, and every single time I was always, and I hate to sound like I'm not shitting on him, but his playing was always pretty sloppy. And like I'm not throwing shade at him because I know he's also had a ton of like forearm and wrist surgeries and stuff,
Mm,
but I was never blown away with his playing. The other guys that he was playing with, like he had Pico Luriero the last time I saw them, which was probably 5 years ago or so. Um, I saw him yeah, I saw him twice with Kiko, I think, and then twice with Chris Broderick. And both of those dudes are fucking animals, especially
Yeah.
Chris
No,
Broderick. That dude is a bad
I think
motherfucker on
almost every
guitar.
time I saw him, he was with Chris Broderick. I think, and
Mm.
Chris Broderick's a
That
bad
would have been like,
motherfucker.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
No,
yeah, that
we're
would have been
talking
like
years ago. I haven't
yeah,
seen him since what's his name died.
Nick Menza.
No. So every time I went and saw Megadeth, um, it was supposed to be, oh, what's the Ace of Spades? I can't think of the name of the
Oh,
band.
Motorhead.
Yeah, Motorhead was supposed to play for him. And every time I went and saw Megadeth, Motorhead had to back out. And Lemmy died. And when Lemmy died, I stopped going to see
Uh,
Megadeth shows because it's like, but but every time I went and saw fucking Megadeth play, dude, like it sounded like the album. It was just that good. Like
mm,
I don't know how to, if you haven't sat down and listened like to Holy Wars, like you listen to that song and you're like, "Oh my God. What is this? This guy is fucking insanely good." He's
mm,
his talent well beyond like he let like famously Dave Mustaine was with Metallica. Metallica would have been a completely different band if Mustaine would have stayed with them.
yeah,
Like it would have been a
yeah.
completely different band because he is so much better than Kirk Hammett or James Hetfield at playing guitar. He's
Ye-
just so good.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I would definitely agree with that. I think I don't I don't want to put this like Dave Mustaine is a very, very good metal player overall and like metal songwriter, but I think James Hetfield and Metallica are a little bit more palpable for more audiences.
I
And that's
think
not like good or bad, that just is what it is.
I think Mustaine is more of a progressive player
Sure.
than
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think
yeah.
that's fair.
Like his time
Yeah.
signatures are all over the board and
Mm,
he's able to he hears things in music that most people wouldn't hear and is able to incorporate different things that most people wouldn't be able to incorporate. I mean, he's just
mm,
a fantastic guitar player all the way around. And what
ye-
you brought up earlier Smashing Pumpkins, and I just want to give
mm,
props where props due. One of the greatest guitar players of the 90s was Billy Corgan.
mm.
Like Billy
You know,
Corgan did not get enough credit for his ability to play guitar.
it's I don't know a lot about Smashing Pumpkins. Like I know all their bigger songs, but he's another example, like from my perspective, like very, very good songwriter. Um, I've heard a lot of people say he's like a real asshole, but who fucking knows? I don't really care.
Probably.
And like the joke is,
He's
yeah,
been famous
him
for
and
like 30 years. Like he's probably an
yeah,
asshole.
him and Bill Burr, yeah, him and Bill Burr are twin brothers. So that's the other joke. But yesterday I watched his interview with Zach Wild, and I like one of my biggest goals in all of podcasting. I could quit podcasting if I got to interview Zach Wild because every single interview I see him in, it's just like he seems like the happiest, most grateful person in the world. And every time he talks about like the stories with Oz, he always just like fills the stories with jokes. Like, I don't know if he's being serious about some of this stuff, but like he'd be like, oh, the boss would tell me I got to make him this sandwich. And, he would go light on the mustard because he didn't need a lot of Hellman's mustard. But then eventually, mom let me in the band and stuff like that. And they told me to scrub the carpets. And, yeah, he just always seemed like a very, very wholesome person. And,
Well, let me ask you
his
this
interview with
about
Billy
that
Corgan was
because I
awesome.
haven't watched it
Yeah.
yet and it keeps popping up on my YouTube and I just haven't watched
Yeah.
it. I I don't get the like I don't have the opinion of Billy Corgan that he would be a good interviewer.
I thought that was the only interview I've ever watched of his, and I thought it was very good. Like Billy
Really?
Corgan knew his shit, and he was able to like dive into different parts of like Zach's history. And I thought it was very, very enjoyable sit down. I
Okay.
don't think he's as good of like an like I didn't enjoy his interviewing style as much as I enjoyed Chris Garza's style of interviewing. And maybe that's just like my bias, but I still thought it was an overall good show. I would have to listen to a little bit more Billy Corgan, but I still enjoyed it. But I mean, any interview with Zach, he's I think I told you this yesterday too, that one of my
He's
friends called
so
me like the golden
relatable.
retriever.
Like
Yeah.
he's such a normal
Yeah.
guy, you know.
Well, yeah,
And
because
that's part of
he's a
what
New
like
Jersey
makes
farm guy.
yeah, that's what makes Zach is he's so relatable. He's a guitar aficionado. I mean, what he joined Ozzy when he was like 19? Am I right
19 or
about
20. Yeah,
he's young.
he had, well,
And
okay, so
Randy
actually
and
in
he
that
was
interview,
following up
yeah,
Randy Rhodes of all people.
yeah,
Like, so you
yeah.
know he's a fucking beast. You know?
Right, right. And you can find out on YouTube the tapes that Zach sent in to Ozzy for auditioning, and they're fucking nuts. Like people hear Zach play and they think one thing, but like the depth to how good of a fucking player Zach is like it's like an iceberg, completely honest with you. Like the tip of the iceberg is like the shredding pentatonic that you hear on every Black Label Society song. And then you hear him practice, you hear him play piano, you hear the songs he writes, and then you hear him like practice or like some of these tapes, some of his backstage jamming. And it's like, oh, he is way better than people fucking understand. But in that interview with Billy Corgan, he actually kind of talked about going into Aussie. He was like, there were a whole bunch of people there who were just like, oh no, this is just like another gig. Like, I heard it pays good, so I'm trying out. And Zach's like, I grew up listening to Randy Rhodes. Like, this is my shit. Like, I
Right?
love
Yeah.
Sabbath. Like, this is
Yeah.
my dream to
Dude,
fucking play with Ozzy. Like, what are you
like
guys doing here if you don't want to play with Ozzy?
his version of what is it?
No more tears.
No. The
Oh, sorry.
Crazy Train.
Oh yeah.
It's absurd. It's absurd. It's like, what the fuck am I listening to? Like
Mhm.
he goes off the rails, like playing Crazy Train. It's fucking amazing. But if you say
Yeah.
Zach Wild, they're like the only thing that pops in my head is pinch harmonics.
Right.
I mean,
I get
that's
it.
like that's what he's
Yeah.
known for, right? Like, but he
Right.
does
But
it better than anybody.
yeah, like you
Like,
can count on a lot of like the Black Label Society discography ending on some kind of pinched harmonic. And like some of the newer music doesn't have as much of that, but also like I live for the fucking bends. Like when
oh my God.
yeah, he does like this 10-minute shredding solo, and just the way that his vibrato is gorgeous. Like you want to talk about a fucking master of just soul in your playing. When you hear his bends, it's just they sing. And I try for that. I kind of get it a little bit, but like he just has a fucking crazy precision. And he doesn't do a lot of like legato, which is just where you don't really pick. That's what Dime was more into. Dime was more into like really hard rhythms, but when it came to leads, he was silky smooth. Zach is into fucking beats you down with leads and fucking rhythms.
Yeah.
And yeah, his playing's a lot more like heavy-handed picking, but it's very clean too.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a fucking master, man. He's a monster. My mom has the hugest crush on Zach Wild. She thinks he's like the sexiest thing ever. Like
How could you not?
before it was Sean Elliott and now it's Zach Wild. So hi mom. I'm giving away all
Yeah.
your secrets.
Yeah. I mean, you can't blame her. I mean, Jesus Christ. I remember seeing
Dude, if I were
Zach in
gay, I'd
2000.
suck his dick.
Oh, yeah, so would I. I would fall in my balls too, man. Everything. You get the full fucking rub down. But back in 2009, he was like fat. He was a big boy. And he had that blood clot in his leg that almost killed him, and he quit drinking cold turkey. And like now you look at him, he is fucking jacked. I mean, he's like half the size he was, but
Yeah.
he's healthy as shit. Like he has a fucking six pack, his arms are defined, he works out like a motherfucker, he keeps up with his health. Zach is like a true, I almost want to say like a renaissance man. Like
How many times have
he
you
is a
seen BLS
father.
play?
They were my second concert, so I saw them in 2009. I saw them at Stage AE Four times. I want to say four times. And then
Okay,
I've seen
so
Zach with Pantera twice.
I've seen him twice. I never saw him with Pantera, but I saw Black Label Society twice. I saw him in 2005 at Ozfest.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. It was so cool. Like
That would
it
have been
was like,
Mafia.
dude, yeah. Yeah, and it was like an hour and a half solo with some songs sprinkled in. It was
Yeah. Jam
amazing.
band.
It
Yeah. So
was
like if you watch,
fucking amazing. It was one of the coolest things I ever, like I saw Shadows Fall at that concert too.
mm,
Dude, that band. I love that band. I'll always say of that era, that band is the most underrated of that era. They were the best of
mm,
that era, if you ask me. Like they're better than Killswitch. They're better than fucking Trivium. They're better than all those bands that came out at that time. Shadows Fall was incredible. I love that fucking band. I don't
mm,
even like that genre of mute of metal. I love
mm.
Shadows Fall. I think they are the greatest thing. Like I will listen to Enlightened by the Cold for fucking decades, dude. That is such a great song.
Yeah. I'm really glad that they came back out and are starting to do music again because I never got to see them and I really dig them too because they've always had a very unique sound about them too. And like you mentioned some of those bands and like I'm huge fans of the bands that you mentioned too. I wouldn't put Shadows Falls the best. It's and once again, this is just, we're arguing semantics at this point, but like that era is like what I grew up with, 98 to like 2007 era
Right.
metal.
Yeah.
Like you said, Enlightened by the Cold, you go with
I was grunge. I was
Retribution.
grunge era. So
Nah.
so you got to think like
Y-
when I was in like so when I was in high school, I started high school in 94.
mhm.
So it was Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Stone Temple Pilots, Alice in Chains. And it was like my dad and I, we always talked because my dad was in a high school in the 70s, right? So we
Mhm.
always compare the 70s rock versus 90s rock and and
Yeah.
how both generations changed music completely. And so
Yeah.
I'm coming out of this like I was a huge Alice in Chains is my favorite band of all time. I think the
Mhm.
three greatest bands of all time are Alice in Chains, The Doors, and Down. Like those are my three.
Mm.
Like I will always freaking measure every band to those three bands, right? And and so whenever I was going into like this genre of Shadows Fall, Trivium, Kill Switch Engage, who else was it? God Forbid was in there, right? And
Yeah.
I'm looking at it from a very I liked that sludgy style, which
Mhm.
Alice in Chains gave you. You get like with Crowbar, I Hate God, like sludge metal style, or
Right.
doom metal, like you had Orange Goblin and like bands
Yeah.
like that.
Oh, they're
And
awesome.
so that was always like my primer, like where I started
Mhm.
everything. And so Shadows Fall kind of met that more than any of those other bands. And then you had that what was the name of that album that Lamb of God did with oh shit. It was the White Album had what was the name of the song? It was Ghost something.
Resolution. Are you thinking about that one?
Yes. Dude, I love that fucking album. The amount of fucking like sludge like integrated into that album, just that freaking that drop D bass in that album. Well, I was just like, this album is so cool.
So that album has one of my favorite openings, and really, I think that's kind of where Lamb of God fell off a little bit. Like the songs that were good, in my opinion, on that album were really good, but some of the other ones were just okay. And no Lamb of God album is bad. Like this, just like my favorite album by them was
Like
probably the
it,
one
yeah,
before
no,
that,
for
Wrath.
sure. It's
Yeah.
not the best Lamb of God album. There was just something
Yeah.
so tasty about that album. It was like
Right. So
it fulfilled something that I was just like, yes. It gets darker every time you listen to it.
there was the first two tracks were King or no, I'm sorry, Straight for the Sun and
Yes.
then Desolation.
Dude,
And just
Straight
like
for the
that fucking
Sun was
intro.
so killer. Da 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 da
Oh yeah,
da
it's
da
just
da da
yeah,
da
just
da
silent and
da da
then you
da
hear
da da. You
yeah.
know, like you're just in it.
The
You're like,
breath
holy
in.
shit. It's kind of like
Yeah.
it's kind of like that there was another song that did that to me, another album that did that to me. It was Korn's first album, right?
Mm.
And you get that I can see I'm going blind. And you just got
Oh
that
yeah.
hardcore boom, you know, like
But down, but down.
fuck
Yeah.
yeah, you're just drawn into it. You're like, what the fuck is happening? You're like, this is something amazing I'm listening to right now. Yeah, man. And so like, I mean, what was I like 13 when Korn came out with that album? You know, like I was like, that was like mind blowing. Like that
Mm.
was life changing listening to the Korn. I remember I heard it because okay, so Korn came out with that album at the same time Marilyn Manson came out with the album that had the Beautiful People on it. What was that album?
Oh jeez.
Great album. It was a really good album. So they did a stream together on a radio show in Houston where it was Jonathan Davis and Marilyn Manson together talking
Mm.
to the radio host about the releases of their new albums. And then I went and
Mm.
saw Korn and Deftones opened up for them. And I got my ass beat in that pit, dude. I got my ass beat. That is the
Yeah.
roughest pit I've ever been in my life. Was Deftones just came out with Adrenaline, which was a fucking amazing
Mm.
album,
Oh
right?
yeah, that's kind of like the
Yeah.
sleeper of their albums. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah. That was like their first album. And it
it
was
was. It
a
was. Yeah.
monster, dude. You had 7 words on there. And like
Yeah.
that
Seven
album was
words. Bored.
incredible. Yes. That
Mm.
but it was like Stain did the same thing. Like Stain's first album with like Mud
Mm.
Shovel and shit was so hardcore. That hit so hard.
Yeah.
And then they came out with like all this like whiny fucking shit. And Deftones did the same shit. And you were like, what the fuck is going
Yeah.
on? Dude, your first album hit so hard. And then now you're
Mm.
coming out with this like emo bullshit. You know, like
Yeah.
what the fuck is wrong with you? You know, but yeah, I remember that. Like I remember going and seeing uh not System of a Down, Wisconsin Death Trip, Static X.
Oh,
I
Static
remember
X.
seeing
Yeah, they're
dude, I
awesome.
remember seeing them live like back in the day.
Yeah.
Dude, it was so fucking fun. Everybody was just like high and fucking
Yeah.
like
Well, like
just
Static
rocking.
X is like bonehead fucking industrial metal, and I love it. Like it took me
Love
a
it.
while to get into it,
Love it.
but I saw them with Seven Dust, which Wayne Static passed away. They have the singer from Dope singing from now, and he actually does a pretty fucking good job.
Dude,
They put on such a
they
cool
used to
show.
play loser. They used to play loser on the radio in
Yeah.
Houston back when it first came
Yeah.
out. And you were like, yes. And you know, you got like
Mm,
at that time, I mean, was that 98, 99? There's like
mm.
they were playing Wait and Bleed on the radio from Slipknot. And so
Yeah.
that would get you into
Yeah.
Slipknot. And they're playing Linkin Park. What was the name of that first fucking hit they had?
It would have been Meteora, I think.
Is that the one
Meteor
where
or
he has?
Hybrid
Is
Theory.
that the one? That was the one where he had the breakdown where he's like, "Shut up when I'm talking to you."
Oh yeah. One step closer.
Yes, yes. One step closer to the edge.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it. And I remember like listening to all that shit and being like, "Wow, this shit is amazing." And we haven't had like that amazing moment in music where all these great fucking songs come out
Mhm.
in a long time, man. Like, I'm not going to say that my generation was the last one to experience it, but it's been a
Mhm.
while. like since you've had that.
Yeah, like I said, I think it almost seems like the way that this works now is that, like, to go back to your point of like the 70s, they changed a lot of music. It seems like this happens, but it's in more and more niche territories. So you know what I mean? Like you're thinking about 70s with rock, like let's say the Who, the Grateful Dead, the Doors, or someone like that. I'm
Zeppelin,
not quite as familiar with this area. Sure, Zeppelin. They broke
Skinner,
through to
Leonard
like
Skinner
one,
came
sure,
out.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
they were one standard, and then in the 80s is a little more niche, but you know, you had your Metallica, Megadeth, some of the hair metal bands too. The hair metal bands were in like a different league, but you see what I'm getting at. And then like the 90s, you had grunge was probably a little bit better, bigger, like at the
To
time
me,
than
to me,
Metallica and
like
all
to me,
them.
the
Yeah.
'90s, like grunge, was very much like the era of like Led Zeppelin. It was like
Okay.
so it
Yeah.
changed music altogether. Like it
Sure.
turned everything on its head. You had like, I mean, you got to think you had like Nirvana, Pearl Jam,
Mhm.
Stone Temple
Yeah.
Pilots, REM, Alice in Chains, like these incredible bands coming out that were just platinum record sellers. And then you look back at the 70s and you had like Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath and like some of these fucking guys. Like it was just it was like a shift. There was like a change in music at that moment. You could feel it, like everything changed, you know? And so what I'm
Yeah.
saying is like because everything's so online. I've talked to my son about this too. And
Mm.
everything's so online nowadays and everything's so minute and in the inertia is like so in your face. You don't get these like global like turning events in the music atmosphere that you would have had, 30 years ago.
Mhm. Well, so like what I was basically getting at is that like it's going to be more and more niche now. Like, I don't think you're going to have another big breakout in music. And maybe I'm wrong, but like, you know, with the late 90s, you
You
had your
will,
big
and it'll
breakout
be
in
a common
metal.
crown. A common crown is going to
Well, we can only
redefine
hope.
music.
Yeah. Only if, you know, you had like this new wave of American heavy metal is, I think is the best way to put it. Kind of like the bands we were talking about, like your Shadows Fall and all that. And then you also had more of like the hardcore stuff. So like Earth Crisis, E-Town Concrete, Hatebreed, which was like big thing on you know, the East Coast. And now you're starting to see bands like Spirit Box, Sleep Token, Knocked Loose. And like I'm not even like the biggest fans of these bands, but I'm also kind of recognizing that like I enjoy them, but like this is someone else's Alice in Chains. This is someone else's Metallica. This is
Mm.
someone else's next breakthrough that's going to put them down the rabbit hole and get them to learn about all these new bands.
All
Like
the bands
that's
that
kind of
came
what,
before, like, yeah, eventually,
right.
eventually listening to Sleep Token, you're going to learn about death.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. Well, and you know what? I think I might have I don't remember who I was talking to about this, but like Sleep Token uses like 8-string guitars. They're super low riffs, and a lot of the riffs are fucking catchy. But like you know, someone's gonna hear that and be like, oh, that guitar sounds cool. Who else plays with low, you know, 8-string guitars? Oh, look, Meshuggah does that. And the next thing you know, they're listening to fucking Humiliative from fucking 1990. And just fucking, you know, slant or you know, destroy, erase, improve. Like listen to this shit from 1992 that like that keeps up just as well as all this other stuff. Or you know, you pick up the Great Southern Trend Kill and you get Living Through Me and you just hear Phil Anselmo ripping into it. And it's like, oh, these guys like crawled. So now Sleep Token and Spirit Box could win a Grammy. Like,
Right.
all right, cool enough. Yeah.
I want to play something for you. I want to see if you've ever heard this before.
Sure.
All right. Because to me, this is one of the greatest bands that's ever
Oh,
come
Doth.
forward.
I've seen them. I saw them twice, and
Did
I
you?
met, or I have a pic from the guitar player.
They're from
This
Georgia.
is Pod 5,
Dude, this
the
band
Oh,
was
I
first
didn't know
fully
that.
so
Oh, yeah, I
immersive
know
amazing.
this
sleep
song
system.
very well.
Intelligent, adaptive.
All
Yeah, their
right.
guitar
Well,
player,
the
Emil
audience is
Wurzler,
about to
is a
know it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Their
they're
guitar player,
fucking
Emil Wurzler,
incredible.
is a bad motherfucker.
Their drummer was amazing.
Yeah.
So I was trying to buy a Death album one time and I was drunk and
Ah,
I accidentally bought a Doth album online. And I was like, oh my God, this is the best mistake I've ever made in my life.
oh yeah. Yeah, and you know what's funny is you could still I think any Death fan would enjoy Doth like because they only had three albums. I think they're making music again. I haven't listened to any of the newer stuff. Like they don't have Emil Warsler with them anymore, which sucks. But I think the other guitarist name was Eyal Levy, and then their singer was Sean Zatorsky, who also went and played keys and did backup vocals for Chimera on their last two albums. Um, so yeah, if you want to check out live videos of Chimera playing in like 2010 to like 2015, you'll see the singer from Doth and he does backup vocals and it's fucking killer. Is that playing for you on your end? Because it's not playing for me. Uh-oh. Is that it's not playing for me on my end, so hopefully if the audio's going for you, then
Was that?
they can hear that. I said I'm not getting any audio from the song on my end.
Oh, you're not.
So hopefully it went through on yours. No.
Well, that's weird because I set
Yeah. Okay, there
everything.
you go. Now it went up to 215 now. I didn't realize it was still playing. It looked like it was trying to play, but
No,
I don't know.
I paused it because you said something.
Oh, my
That's
bad.
weird.
Yeah.
I don't know where I have to go back to the main screen. God damn it. Shut up.
Yeah.
Damn dogs. All right. Yeah, I
Don't
have
worry,
to go
mine are
back.
downstairs doing the same thing. My dad dropped by and he had to drop something off.
Yeah,
So
it says share
um
sound. Everything says share. All right, whatever.
yeah, it wasn't I don't think it was anything. It might be like my internet connection or something like that, but it was just showing the pause screen. But yeah, for people listening, Doth Day of Endless Light, that song is fucking awesome. And you can find there's literally a video on YouTube and it's called Emil
That
Worsler
band
is a
is
mother.
incredible. That band is
Yes,
incredible.
there is a video on YouTube and it's literally called Emil Worsler is a motherfucker. And it's just like 8 minutes of him just ripping. Like that dude is legitimately one very impressive guitar player. He is so talented. Oh yeah, last Chimera album they put out oh, I can't remember the name of it. But he played on that album.
What's up? You stopped.
Oh no. We might be having a little bit of a latency issue.
Like nothing's paused. Like I can see you just fine.
Okay, could you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good, good, good. Yeah, the last yeah, there
No,
might be
that's
like
why
some
I
kind of
was like,
latency
"What's up?"
issues.
You
Yeah.
just stopped. I was trying to get a
Oh,
drink of beer. You were talking. I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get a drink while he's talking," and then you just stopped, and I was like, "What happened?"
oh yeah. It must have the internet must have cut out there for a brief second. But yeah, literally Emil Worsler from Doth is just such a fucking talented guitar player. That band was insanely talented. And it's crazy that like they never got boosted to the degree that they should
Well,
have.
I mean,
Now
it's
you're
the
seeing
same
like
with like acid bath, right?
mm,
Like I don't know if you're familiar with acid bath, but
not really,
all
no.
right. So the guitar player from Goat Whore used to be the guitar player for Acid Bath. And
Mm,
Dax Riggs was the lead vocalist for Acid Bath. But they were all like teenagers. Like this was back in the 90s. They were all like a bunch of kids from Louisiana playing metal. And,
mm.
you know, like some of the great like metal bands that I listen to are like not known at all. Um, oh, what's the name of that one fucking band that I love so much? God, I can see the fucking art for their fucking albums. I can't think of the name of the band, but they were just so like there were so many good bands that came out of that southern metal kind of like genre that just didn't get the recognition that they deserved. You know, you had and they would all tour together. There's actually a documentary out there. You can find it on YouTube about southern metal, and
Mhm.
it's like these guys just talking about how they just kind of like stuck together. And they were all like, you would have like these guys, like the same band, opening up for Crowbar or Corrosion of Conformity or freaking, Down constantly. And the reason you were getting these bands out there, like opening up for these, these more like well-known bands is because they were all good buddies, and it was like they were trying to get this idea, like this kind of like style of metal out there.
Mhm.
And then like when Acid Bath broke up, Dax Riggs went solo, and he started doing like acoustic shit, and people would make fun of him, but he was actually a really talented musician, like really good stuff. And so we all like continue listen to it. But you got to like, we had bands like we had Clutch and Crowbar and Down and I Hate God, and like,
Mhm.
I mean, Pantera obviously is from, Dallas, famously, even though Phil is from New Orleans. Like, we had a huge music scene down here in
Right.
the 80s and 90s as far as metal goes. And it's just a lot of it didn't break out, the way that some of these other bands broke out. And it's, I wouldn't say devastating, but it's disappointing because these bands were just as good as anybody else. Shit, there was a band called fuck, they sang that song South Texas Death Ride. Um
Sure.
Union Underground.
Mm.
And so at the same time you had oh, what was the band with Spider, Rob Zombie's brother. Um Shit, this is what it's like when
Uh,
planets collide, worlds collide.
oh, Power Man 5000.
Power Man 5, the same style, kind of like
Mm.
light industrial kind of idea, 10 times better. 10 times better. Dude, I could send
Mm.
you any one of their fucking songs off their first album, and you'd be like, oh, wow, this is a great band. And then, and they didn't make it past one album because the lead vocalist fell into drug addiction, you know? And it's just
Mm.
like one of these like devastating stories that it's like, maybe if they would have made it and there would have been some hope, this guy would have been able to overcome this addiction. But because of the way that the like kind of the nepotism that interacts with the music industry, like they just didn't have a chance.
Yeah.
And
Well, like you said, like Down and all of them were all from that area. And it's like there was like a very, very specific culture to all those kind of bands. And it's a shame that like none of them really got the recognition they really deserved.
yeah, for sure. Sorry, I thought my rooster was about to attack my wife. I was like, wait, wait. We're about to see a
Just kind of
fight.
watching all of it. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I know you got to go and get ready for your next show because you got 5 till midnight coming out here in a minute or in a little bit.
Mhm.
So plug what you got to plug. Uh, I didn't
Man.
even plan on talking about music the entire time. This is what we do. You fucking distract me, dude. I have like a plan in my mind, like, all right, we're gonna talk about all this shit, and then you get on here and we just start talking music, and I'm like, I look up and it's like, oh, an hour and a half later, and okay, I'm never gonna be able to bring up Israel again.
Yeah, I've fortunately been a little tuned out of politics, maybe, and maybe I'm an irresponsible politics podcast host for doing that. But
No, I do it.
regardless,
I do it all the time. I turn it off. Every
yeah,
once in a while, I'll turn it off and I'll be like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Like, don't ask me because I don't have the patience to pay attention. I got on your ass yesterday about
yeah.
you fucking worrying about what the fucking goddamn audience thinks. And don't worry about that. You got to stop worrying so
It, it's
much.
it's it's not necessarily the audience. It was more about like, I don't know if I want to keep doing political content. Maybe I'll just, completely forget about politics and just be a happy heavy metal dude. But
And nobody gives a
it's not
fuck.
there.
Nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah,
Do what you're gonna do.
exactly.
Yeah.
But lots of cool stuff coming up for me and a Common Crown here in the near future. If you're in the southwestern Pennsylvania area, we're opening for Paradise Kitty, who's a all-female Guns N' Roses tribute band.
Take me
That's
down
going to
to
be
the
June
paradise
23rd.
kitty where the grass is green and the bush is pretty.
Exactly. Um, Hazen Flea Market, which is about 2 hours north. And then Rock for Life, which is the big charity event. I'll be blasting that all over social media because that's a very, very good cause near and dear to my heart. We're opening for Hinder again in September, which is going to be freaking awesome. And by then, this is the only reason why I hope my daughter might be here a little bit early is because I would love her to see her dad, even though she probably won't remember it, at 2 months old,
She
seeing
won't remember
Hinder
it.
live. Yeah,
She
but
won't remember
it'd be
shit.
cool to. Yeah, but you know what? I like. There's certain things that I think about, like as a
Aiden
baby.
doesn't remember shitting in a urinal at 4 years old. She's not gonna remember shit at 2 months old.
Probably not, but you know what? She could say, "Oh yeah, at 2 months old, I went and saw Hinder." So, and whichever guy tries to wow her with how
I
many
don't know.
bands,
What did they play? Like I know it's a big band,
Hinder.
but I don't know their music. I don't
Oh,
think.
"Lips of an Angel" would be like the big song.
Oh, okay.
I know you have heard this song. Either that or like "Get Stoned." There's like those, their two biggest songs. But yeah, we're doing that.
I thought that was Bob Dylan. Would
No.
not feel so all alone. Everybody must get stoned. Like I thought that was Bob Dylan. I don't
Oh no, well,
know.
yeah, I don't know that Bob Dylan song. I don't listen to too much Bob Dylan, but yeah, as far as my podcast goes in Liberty and Health, 5 till midnight, occasional host of Rule Zero and Post Zero on the weekends, and I do a Sunday morning coffee
I
podcast,
forgot.
Kill the Boar.
I forgot to get into this. See, you distract me. You get me talking about music. Kill the
Mhm.
board. Kill the board. It's not Boer. It's not Boer. Tim Pool, you
Mm,
fucking retard. You got a South African working for you. You fucking idiot. And you still say Boer. You fucking retard. It's Boer.
I love it.
You fucking retard. I hate that fucking. Like, I try to listen to him just so I can get an idea of what like people are listening to. And I get 5 minutes into like one of his fucking rants, and then he starts talking about himself. Dude, you're not the fucking news. Nobody gives a shit about you.
Uh, Listen, I could listen to Tim Pool hate all day. And Scott Horton went on there recently, and he was debating some crazy Zionist dude. And like, I wish Scott would have just went
Oh,
full fucking.
he was debating Elad Eliyahu, which is Tim Pool's reporter. It said their hired reporter for Timcast
Oh.
News.
Yeah, Scott
Like,
fucking
and
he
they
went a little
always make
he didn't
fun
go
of him about being a fucking, they always call him the fucking, the local fucking, neocon. But he's worse than a
mm,
neocon, dude. He's a chicken
yeah.
hawk because he would never go to
Yes.
war, but he wants you and me to go to war.
Yes.
He wants
Yes, exactly.
able-bodied people to go protect him because he's a fucking pussy. Get in the octagon with me, Eliad.
Yeah.
I will kill you.
Anyways, I was hoping Scott would have went full Piers Morgan debate. I don't know if you remember those. There's the couple things that Scott said in some of these debates. Talk faster. You're wasting time. That's one of my favorites. Or why don't you argue with something I said, you dumb bastard? Just Scott going scorched earth on these people. It never gets old. So
Dude,
no, you won't see me on.
he's gotten to debate some fucking people too on there, like
Mm,
Wesley Clark and like
yeah.
what was the guy from the fucking Russia Gate? He got the debate. I was like, oh my God, Scott's gonna kill this guy.
Oh yeah, dude, Scott, I would be shivering in my boots if like I knew who Scott Horton was and we're going to
That's
debate
the
him.
thing,
He
man.
cleans these.
Like
Yeah,
when he debated like Bill Crystal, it was like, oh, y'all don't even know who Scott Horton is.
yeah, you
Like
ain't. Oh yeah, you ain't
it's
ready to
not
have your
even like
clock cleaned.
you know your talking points, but you don't even know who you're debating. Like that's your number
Mhm.
one fucking problem is you don't have a clue as to who you're fucking like the person that is debating you is. Like if
Yeah,
they
and
had
he.
any clue who Scott Horton was, they'd be watching tape for 6 weeks before they debated him. You
Oh
know?
yeah, and even then you wouldn't be ready.
Yeah, but at least you would have a chance. These guys don't even have a chance, man. And I'm like, oh shit. You watch Scott Horton go toe to toe with a colonel, and you're like, oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah. Yes.
well, everything
I don't
I
think.
thought about experts is wrong. Like,
Yeah, I don't think there's a single debate that Scott's lost and just hasn't completely mopped the floor with these people. I love him debating because like you and I talking to Scott, he's like, yeah, man, like that's fucking cool, man. Like just off air, but on air, he's fucking like, oh
he's
no, no,
on
no,
it.
did you know this? And no, no, actually back here. Yeah, just
Yeah. Yeah.
fucking he's an animal.
I love it too because he'll forget like the journalist who wrote an article in 1989 and he'll be like, shit, I got
Yeah.
whatever Biden has. And I'm like, no, dude, Biden can't remember who tied his shoes this morning. You're fine. like, it's like,
Yeah. Um, but yeah, that's a long roundabout way of doing plugs and us glazing Scott Horton. Yeah, Matovcik on Twitter, Matovcik. I'm on Facebook as well. I may start streaming to Rumble because Facebook literally gives me no traffic. So, yeah, we'll see. But yeah, you can find me pretty much anywhere. And yeah, the band's called A Common Crown, and we will have new music out before the end of the year. And this stuff is going to hit so fucking hard. And if it doesn't make me famous, I'm gonna have to go use the old reliable and start screaming the N word in person because apparently that gets white people famous. So
oh,
be prepared. Either you're gonna
I thought
see.
you were gonna start sucking dick on OnlyFans. I was like not prepared for
Well,
whatever you
that's option three. Yeah, that's option three. We're starting off with the first option. If the music doesn't work, then I'm gonna walk up to a black person and say the hard R and record it so that way I can get famous and get $500,000. And then if that one doesn't work either, then I'm gonna suck dick with a black eye for a little bit until the eye heals up. So
yeah.
anyways, that's all I got.
All those squats you do, I bet you have a nice ass.
Yeah, I do. I can thank my mom for that.
All right, brother. Well, I
Nice, man.
appreciate you. Yeah, I'm
Of
gonna
course.
stop the recording now.